Is everybody feeling better now? The Epstein files will be released. We will have the big vote in the Senate. It is all wrapped up in the House. 427 to 1 was the vote to release the Epstein files. And to be honest, anytime there's a vote that is 427 to 1 in Congress, I'm skeptical. I step back and I'm like, yeah, you know what? Something about this actually stinks. Something about this actually suggests that people are not going to get what they want out of this. Congress knows that full well, but they're giving people on both sides of the aisle what they think they are clamoring for. Now, if I was in the House, I would have voted for this. I would have gone ahead and said, you know what, fine, just release the darn things at this point. You know what, get it all out there. That's fine. But I'm telling you, this is going to be a dud for people across the board who are hoping to get their golden goose out of this thing. Meantime, we're sitting here. Thanksgiving's around the corner. Travel could be chaotic. Prices are still higher than we want them to be. And we're all being distracted by this little Epstein thing when the guy's dead and burning in hell. I mean, you tell me, maybe this is something that you're just clamoring for because you want to see that big name taken down. You want to get your flesh. You want to make sure that there's someone that you can stand who you are going to get to see sink on the global stage in the wake of these Epstein files being released. Maybe that's what's going to happen. Maybe you think and you want that to happen. But my goodness, we're sitting here and I'm looking at the story and it's turbocharged in many ways. Not by a desire for justice. Epstein's dead. But because you have the mob on both sides of the political aisle getting promised a public execution of their hated elites. If you're on the left side, you know who that is. It's Trump. If you're on the right side, it's Bill Clinton. It's whoever. It's fill in the blank. And now people actually think it's going to happen. You really think that? You really think that? Because I don't. I really don't. This was Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House yesterday after the vote as it gets set to head on over to the Senate.
Any reaction to Leader Thune, seeing the bill without adding amendments or changing it?
I'm deeply disappointed in this outcome. I think I've been at the state dinner. I don't know. I was just told that Chuck Schumer rushed it to the floor and put it out there preemptively. It needed amendments. I just spoke to the president about that. We'll see what happens.
So do you think he may veto it? You say you spoke to the president?
I'm not saying that.
Is he supportive of it in its current form?
We both have concerns about it,
So there you go. That is Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. The Senate is expected to receive the House-passed version of the Epstein files, pass it along to President Trump this morning. So this comes after yesterday. The Senate agreed to unanimously approve the bill the House passed earlier in the day. And you heard Mike Johnson there express some of the concerns and issues that he has with the bill in its current form. So you know what? It's fine. It's all good. All right. I'm just telling you, I'm going to be the guy that just says caution your expectations. Because if you are somebody who is of the belief that there is this cabal of global elites across the political spectrum, and all of our members of Congress are bought and paid for by these people, then why would they all vote to expose them with the release of the Epstein files, right? If that's actually something that you believe, and I'm not there, I'm not saying that I am, but if that's something that you believe, although I do believe our politicians are bought and paid for in too many cases, I just don't believe both sides of the aisle are bought and paid for by the same small cabal of people that are hanging out with Epstein on Pedophile Island. But if you believe that, then do you really think that both sides of the political aisle would have voted 427 to 1 yesterday to release these files? Because I don't. That just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. 913-408-7957. This also concerned me. I heard this from Thomas Massey. Now, Thomas Massey is a guy who Trump eviscerated over the weekend. Unfairly. Trump ripped on Thomas Massie because Massie has been the guy who has been out there and has really wanted the Epstein vote. He's Kentucky's 4th congressional district, and I think overall he's a pretty good member of Congress. But he said something to CNN yesterday about this, and I'll explain why it's concerning. Let's roll it.
Congressman Massey, couldn't the president just call up the Justice Department and say, release this? I mean, obviously that would be unconventional, but, he's an unconventional president.
He absolutely could. There's still time to do that. He could save the Senate a lot of work. It takes them forever to do anything in the Senate, and he could just release the files himself. Now, some people have said, well, how will you know that he's released the files? We will know when rich and powerful men are implicated. So they've claimed that they've been releasing thousands, tens of thousands of documents to Congress already, but what we've discovered is there's not a single new name in those documents. We know because we have survivors through their lawyers who've told us that they have names. We know they know who's in those files, and we'll know if he's given us a complete release.
All right. So what I'm hearing there from Thomas Massie is basically unless he hears what he wants to hear, then there might be something else there, which also is not really a healthy way to go about this. Unless you get the scalps that you want, then something nefarious might be going on. On the text line, Pete, I believe it's more Hollywood with some political individuals sprinkled in there. I believe it could potentially be the fall of Hollywood, which I believe is needed. Well, I think Hollywood's mostly toast anyway. I don't know. Hollywood doesn't have the juice it had a generation ago. The Oscars numbers back that up tremendously. People are not as into some of these things as they used to be, movies in particular. But I don't know. I don't have an opinion on that. I don't. I really don't. Let's go to Mike in Kansas City. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, you might be part of it that somebody's looking for their individual staff, but a lot of people in the middle that are not necessarily that partisan, we just want to see a standard of justice. We're tired of being lectured to about the climate by people who fly around in private jets. Hillary got away with the email situation she had. All these people are getting away with this stuff, and I think the masses in the middle, you're late on your taxes, and you get, raked over the coals.
Well, Mike, hold on. You're right. You're absolutely right. You're hitting on exactly what I'm saying here. It's more about, in many cases, people wanting to stick it to the elites. But if you think that the Epstein file is just magically going to do that, I just think you're going to be sorely mistaken and you're going to be disappointed.
Right. It's not sticking it to the elites. It's just some level of a balanced playing field. Now, yeah, there's a lot of bread and circus in this. I agree with you on that, and I don't know what's going to come of it on the end. But the people, the masses, those of us, that connect your calls and feed you and drive your cars and protect you while you sleep, those of us are out here. We're tired of being put on a second tier of everything. The elites get away with everything.
Two tiers of justice, and that absolutely exists. To your point, it absolutely exists. I agree with what you just said, Mike. But I think you're also proving my point here, which is that people want it because they feel like there has been two tiers of justice, two sets of laws, two different economies in this country for far too long, and this is how they're going to stick it to the elites. I'm just telling you, all these members of Congress, many of whom are bought and paid for by these people, are not now magically going to give us what we want. And I don't think it's coming. I don't. Trucker Matt's in Kansas. Go ahead, man.
Hey, sir, I agree with you that there's no cabal, but these guys are pedophiles, and I don't care if it's Trump's janitor or Chuck Schumer's cook who went to this island and did things with these girls. But as a father of 6 girls, I want these guys known. And if it's past the, time limit for them to be prosecuted, everybody in the world should know that these guys are sick. And like that guy from Harvard who's now backing up from public speaking, they should be made a pariah. I don't care how rich or powerful they are, because there's got to be people in there that aren't part of the elite that went to this island as well.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about Larry Summers. God bless you, my friend. Yeah. I've got 3 girls. You've got 6 girls. That's amazing.
It's terrifying.
It's terrifying. Well, let me just say this, Matt, though, on a serious note to your point. As a fellow father of daughters, I agree. But here's something I've also thought about. You know, the victims of Epstein Island have been very vocal on releasing the files, right? Why can't they just sit down and just tell us who was there?
Yeah, that's a good point, too.
You know, I mean, I'm just...
I wonder if they've told their fathers.
Well, I wonder that as well. Hey, Matt, God bless you, man. I love it. I've wondered that, too. Why not just go out there and do a sit-down interview? And they can tell us who was on the island. I mean, Mark, I don't know. Does that seem reasonable to you? 60 minutes? I mean, Brett Baer, I don't care, whoever.
Yeah, Massey made it sound like they've talked to somebody, but not publicly.
Well, go ahead, do it. Steven in Kansas City, what's up?
Hey, listen, this is about equal justice and equal protection under the law. I'm glad A.G. Bondi has got all these Bill Clinton and all of his financial buddies in the target of the crosshairs here. I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of hearing about all this stuff. Prosecute these guys. Get the evidence. We have an AG for at least for the next year to roast all these Democrats. This story is not over. This story is not close to being over. Go Bondi. Get Clinton. Get all of his donors. Yeah, I mean, let's just not. You know, this is going to go down the news hole anyway because the mainstream media has no interest in reporting on this.
Let me ask you: Do you think CNN, MSNBC, they have had obsessions over Epstein the last week, right? Just totally randomly, government reopens up, and now they're on the Epstein. Do you really think that Bill Clinton, if your point is correct, that this is all about Bill Clinton and his buddies? Do you think that they would then have CNN going all in on this thing the way that they are? Or do you think they'd make a phone call?
This is just going to go to the next shiny object. Pam Bondi is in office for the next year, and I hope she prosecutes the hell. It doesn't matter. I don't care. I don't care whether they pay attention or not. I want prosecution. I want application of the law, how they apply it to us. I mean, I don't know why that's so hard. I don't know why that's so hard to understand.
It's not hard.
It's not hard. We go after you.
It's not hard. I'm agreeing with you that I'm agreeing with you, Steve. I'm agreeing with you, and I know you're upset because your Jayhawks came up short last night against the Duke Blue Devils. But you know,
at least Mark hit his 20-point parlay.
Yes, that's a good point. You're listening. I like that, Steven. No,
right,
see you later. Yeah, Mark, good job on the alt spread there. I told you not to touch the 10.5 on KU, and that would have been a loser. But back to Epstein. I agree with what every caller has said here to open up the show. But my point is exactly what I think we're all trying to get to here, which is that everyone will be sorely disappointed. And the writing is clearly on the wall on this front. Clearly on the wall. All of mainstream media, all these politicians who many people insist have been part of the cover-up are now suddenly like, you know what, let it rip. Let them all sink. Really? Come on now. 913-408-7957. And we'll tell you some of the statements on some of the local members of Congress after they all voted yes, Democrats and Republicans, next on KCMO. All right, here was Emmanuel Cleaver, the musty man himself.
You muster moo.
Statement from Emmanuel Cleaver yesterday. The crimes committed by Jeffrey Epstein and his associates were disgusting, deplorable, devastatingly damaging to dozens, if not hundreds. While it's deeply disappointing, the President and the Speaker of the House fought to prevent this bill from ever coming to the House floor. A bipartisan coalition of lawmakers came together to force a vote that will bring us another step closer towards providing justice to the victims and transparency to the American people. I was proud to vote for the bill and the disclosure of the Epstein files in the hopes that it would provide closure for the survivors. I mean, come on. Emmanuel Cleaver's putting out that statement really to swipe at Trump and Mike Johnson. And you really think that magically the golden goose of Bill Clinton's going to show up in the files? Come on now. Please. All this is a distraction from what these goobers should be doing on behalf of the American people and the taxpayer. Let's go to Paul. He's in Kansas City. What's up, Paul?
Hey, Pete. Yeah, I watched the news conference on Capitol Hill with the survivors and the three congressional members, and I was struck when one of the survivors said, this is me at 14. And the first thing, I'm a father of 2 daughters and 2 young granddaughters. God bless me with some great women. Where were your parents? Why aren't the parents being talked about? When you got a 14-year-old girl that's being flown off to an island, where is your parents, for God's sakes? Well, that wouldn't happen to my daughters.
Well, you know as well as I do. I mean, the women they were targeting, obviously, were vulnerable. Many, were in broken home situations, didn't have father figures in the house. I mean, it's a tale as old as time, right?
It is, but still, there's got to be somebody that they had parents that would stand up and say, "Where's my daughter at?" I mean, I got it, broken homes and things like that, but still, there's somebody, an adult there, that needs to know where that 14-year-old child was.
Well, listen, I'm with you there, Paul. I'm with you. And obviously, as a fellow father of daughters, obviously it would never happen on my watch or your watch.
But
unfortunately, there's a lot of households in this country and around the world where that is not the case.
Yeah, that's sad, but they won't talk about, the illegal girls that have come over the border during Biden that we still don't know where they're at, and we just need to talk about that and just get some accountability on that.
I'm with you.
That's all.
I'm with you, Paul. I mean, listen, I understand the emotional frustration. I mean, we've taken, 4 or 5 calls here to start the show in the first 20 minutes. Many of you calling as the father of daughters, as am I. But then we've got to strip back the emotion of it and say, do you really think that these people, and by these people I mean members of Congress, who many of us don't trust by and large to begin with, have now suddenly come to this conclusion that they are going to give us what they want or give us what we want when they've been sitting on these things for years, when the media didn't touch, CNN, MSNBC didn't touch the Epstein file story, when the Democrats ran the House, the Senate, and the White House. And now they're going wall to wall. And you think that's because there's going to be a big drop of Bill Clinton and all his buddies? I mean, come on. I want you to be right, but we've all been around long enough to know that that's not what's going to happen here. It will be a big nothing. And that saddens me. I don't want that to be true, but I know it's coming. I know it's coming. But it plays well. It makes it look like these politicians are in touch with the folks, right? While they screw you every other which way. But don't worry, now they get to seem like they're on board with you. They get to make it seem like they are in touch with you and they're fighting for you. When they know full well their donors, their friends, their political buddies are not getting touched. Coming up next on KCMO Talk Radio. Well, this was a weird appearance from someone local in Kansas City, going outside of their comfort zone and maybe laying the foundation for something bigger. Who, why, and what's next? This caught me off guard. So on Monday night, I was up in St. Joe at an event with the Missouri GOP. They had a huge fundraiser made and raised enormous amounts of money honoring Stan Herzog, the Herzog Foundation, 200 people strong. It was a really impressive event. Well, I just saw this yesterday from Tony's Kansas City, that on Monday night, the mayor of Kansas City, Quinton Lucas, who is going to be on the show tomorrow in his usual Thursday 7:30 slot, he was down in Springfield, and he was talking to the Greene County, Missouri Democrats. And he was loving every second of it, man. He posted on social media, on Facebook, "Proud to show up for a full crowd of Greene County Democrats who know our schools, our health care, our seniors, our families, our communities, and our state are worth the work." Adding, "If you can win Springfield, you can win Missouri. If you can win Missouri," writes Mayor Lucas, you can win America. Whoa. Woo! Does that sound like a guy who might be interested in doing something other than just being the mayor of Kansas City? It sure does to me, yeah.
Make Missouri great again?
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's what he had in mind, but...
Not quite, but I think there's a parallel idea.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you, John. So he's got 3 photos of himself hanging out there with the Greene County Democrats on Monday night. Looked like a solid enough crowd. And it sounds like a guy to me who is more than interested in things beyond Kansas City. Now, this would not include the congressional district that Mark Alford is going to be in after the redistricting. So it's not like he was down there laying the foundation for a congressional run, because that's not going to be the district that he would theoretically run in against Mark Alford, John.
Fantasy idea. We have politics and a pint at Lambert's Cafe in Ozark, Missouri, just right there by Springfield with the mayor.
Maybe you
Perhaps.
can throw the rolls?
Yeah, we throw the rolls around.
That would be fun.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't want you to blow out your arm, though. I don't know how many throws you got in that arm anymore there, John. If we got 250 people showing up for politics.
I'm still good on the relay.
Okay. All right, good. Mark will toss some rolls as well. Mark loves tossing those rolls.
You just got to catch the rolls there.
That's good.
Then
Yeah.
eat 'em, you know.
Well, I know, but they might need some help throwing them. Just saying.
That's true.
And I think
I'll throw
throwing is more fun than catching.
Yeah.
I love it. You see the kids that are on the baseball team that work there, they'll wind up and they've got a good toss. They'll get across the room.
Well, we're setting the foundation for 2026 here. I like that. So this looks like somebody who is interested in something more than just Kansas City politics. Quentin Lucas is not doing this in Greene County. He's not putting up these photos. He's not putting up a description like that unless he's interested in something more. And it may not be Congress, but I do know this much about Quentin Lucas. If he had a dream next job, I'm telling you, it's governor of Missouri. And you can laugh at it and scoff at it all you want. And, you know, at this point in time, I would, based on the makeup of this state. But I'm telling you, that is this guy's dream job, to be the governor of the state of Missouri.
He was close. If he'd wandered over to Buc-ee's, he might have bumped into former Governor Mike Parsons like I did when I was down there.
Yeah, that's right. He could have given him some tips on how to be governor, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm just saying, there's something about that post, and I'll ask him about it tomorrow on the show, that I find very cryptic but also highly intriguing. Now, back here in Kansas City, City Council. I saw this yesterday. Channel 9, KMBC, had the report on what one member of the City Council wants to do when it comes to ATVs and dirt bikes and things like that, where, of course, there's been a problem here as of late. So this is something that has come up, of course, as Kansas City has dealt with a lot of sideshows and things of that nature. What they want to do, what Crispin Rea wants to do, is help change state law. And, Mark, do we have this clip? I thought I had this from Channel 9 KMBC. If I did not put it in there, then that's on me. But I remember dragging it in this morning, if you could see if you've got it there. But what Crispin Rea talked about doing, and what his proposal is to figure out a way to take these bikes and these 4x4s away from people. And then what he also wants to do is have them destroyed. Mm-hmm. He wants to get rid of them, John. Totally destroy them.
I've got the story coming up on our next newscast, as a matter of fact.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the system allows you to get your vehicle back, if you pay the penalties and fines, but then they get it returned to repeat offenders. Some are stolen, and they just go ahead and impound them, and then others where people can prove ownership, get them back, and then they're participating all over again.
Well, here's Crispin Rea, a member of the Kansas City, Missouri City Council, talking about this last night to Channel 9 KMBC. And you'll also hear from an attorney who is not on board with this idea. And I'm on the attorney's side on this one.
Councilman Crispin Rea believes part of the answer to stopping these incidents is seizing and destroying the vehicles.
As a practical matter, the few of these we have out there, the less enforcement we need.
We're just taking it, we're seizing it, and we're destroying it. And that just does not seem lawful.
Chris Scott is Kendall Coleman's attorney. He points out vehicles can have multiple owners, or there might be payments on them, meaning the lender owns the property.
This is unnecessary. The laws already exist. There are civil forfeiture laws specifically for situations like this.
There was a change in state law last year that after so many felonies, you could confiscate and destroy certain vehicles. And so this would just be expanding it.
All right, so you heard the voice there of the report from KMBC Channel 9, Andy Alcock, the cock man on it himself. You heard from Crispin Rea, Kansas City, Missouri City Councilman, and then you heard from the attorney of Kendall Coleman. He's the 28-year-old who knocked down a KCPD officer while driving an ATV back in April. And I am not here at all to defend the sleazeball who is alleged to have knocked over a cop and put him in the hospital back in the spring. But I happen to agree with his attorney here. The idea that the city could destroy an ATV or a dirt bike that is potentially not owned by the individual who was committing the crime with that dirt bike, that bothers me. If the bank owns it, or if somebody else is on the loan, let them buy it out. But that is going down a treacherous path that I don't want the government being able to go down, John.
Kind of with you there, I guess. I see your point. The point I would say, just impound the vehicle until it's paid for, if it's got a loan and all that stuff.
Well, that's fine, yeah.
I mean, it's tough stuff if you're not responsible. You've got to, if your name's on the loan, come on, man.
Well, that's fine.
Right?
Yeah, I'm totally okay with that.
And so, but I do see your point. I mean, if the bank's on it and it's not paid for yet.
Well, then where would they stop, too? I mean, if you committed some crime that they don't like with your vehicle, could they take your car and just decide they're going to destroy it? If you're going too fast, you know what I mean? If they're like, you know what, we got a problem with speeding.
I see where you're going there.
We don't. If you're going more than 20 miles an hour over the speed limit on 71 highway, we're going to pass a law that allows us to not only give you a ticket, but we're going to take your car and destroy your vehicle. No.
Unintended consequences. Yeah. I see. I was focusing specifically on this.
No, we know that the sideshows are a problem. But you know what the answer is? If you're the government, if you're Kansas City, Missouri, the answer is to get your policing fully staffed. That's the only focus you need to have right now. More cops give you the ability to spread out your law enforcement around the city, be deterrents for these sideshows. That's how you do it. You don't pass a law that gives you the right to take somebody's property and destroy it because you don't like what they did with that thing. I want no part of this. I don't want the Kansas City, Missouri City Council to pass it. I don't think that this is something they should be considering. And I think Crispin Rea has totally missed the boat. I think his intentions are right, but the unintended consequences of this and the power that it gives the government over other people's property is not something I want any part of.
Well, I'm in favor of him floating the idea just to put a little deterrence out there. People think it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but you know what?
It's like a parent.
It's like anything else, though. It's like we talk about with the kids that are beating up teachers in schools.
Right.
They don't know about the new laws. They're not paying attention to any of that.
Touche.
That's where I struggle with this. Like the people that are criminals do not listen to this show. They just don't. I mean, they're not waking up, getting a cup of coffee and going to the office and listening to KCMO. They don't do that. They're thugs. They don't know what's going on. They're just doing whatever makes them feel good in that moment. Laws and consequences be damned, because they're already breaking laws to begin with. So let's focus on those things. We'll see if we can get Crispin Rea on the show. But last time I tried to book him, I mean, it was like I had to interview him before the interview. And I'm like, bro, I'm not doing that. Okay, stop. All right, if you want to come on the show for a few minutes, I'd love to have you. But if not, I'm not doing the interview before the interview. I don't have time for that. People in neighborhoods around 119th and Knoll have actually woken up to a potential Major League Baseball stadium showing up in their backyard. Is it too little too late? Probably. They should have done this 6 months ago, but I guess better late than never. That's all I can say about that, John.
I had submitted my request to park cars in my yard, remember? And I had the deal about the mobile homes. If I could use a mobile home, if I had to count that as 2 spaces. Yeah. So I figured I could get about 8, maybe 10.
Well, I'd say I'd hook you up with Mayor Kurt Skoog, but I think he's still mad at me from our interviews last month. So
I wondered where my proposal just keeps saying pending when I check in online. So I'll get back to you if I find out more.
Oh, it's great. So good job by Jonathan Ketz, Fox 4, talking to a couple of HOA presidents in the area of 119th and Knoll. where, of course, the Royals are considering putting the stadium in the worst possible location for a stadium I could ever imagine. But, it's par for the course with the way this process has gone. Here is what the reports are from Fox 4 and how this sounded last night on the news.
Frankly, I have not heard one individual be in favor of it. I've had no one in my neighborhood. Now, we're going to have our HOA annual meeting tomorrow night, and I'm going to ask. I said, folks, if you're in favor, tell me why. Convince me.
Hurt gave us his personal opinion on the situation at his home on Tuesday.
But I will tell you, over the course of the last 4 or 5 or 6 months, I've had at least 15 people in our little neighborhood of 69 homes say, no way, Jose.
The Royals wouldn't comment Tuesday, but the team has publicly confirmed they're considering Overland Park, North Kansas City, and the downtown Kansas City area for their new stadium. Where specifically in each of those 3 cities the Royals are looking to build, the team hasn't said. Mark Kelly has 81 households in his HOA. He knows that his HOA entity is against the stadium going in at 119th and Knoll.
Does this keep you up?
Not yet, but we are concerned, and I know the people in my community are concerned.
Well, you should be concerned. Anybody who owns property within a stone's throw of 119th and Knoll should be concerned, and you should have been concerned 6 months ago. That was the time to speak up. That was the time to make some noise. It really hasn't happened. There has not been a coordinated effort by homeowners and HOAs and whoever else in the area. I would also include small businesses in that. I know they convince you it's going to be a big boost for your business if they put a Major League Baseball stadium at 119th and Knoll. Let's say you're a restaurant owner or something like that. But as soon as you realize they're also going to get tax breaks to build their restaurants on the site, which may actually be competition for your restaurant and not help you like you think it will, and deter other people from coming to that area because they don't want to deal with 40,000 cars in and out of a stadium 81 nights a year, suddenly it doesn't sound as good now, does it? So good job by John Ketz reaching out to these folks and trying to get some pushback and information here from these communities to actually hear what they're saying. But outside of this show, no one else has done it. There has not been any appetite from Overland Park members of the city council to actually hear from these people. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to give an opinion on whether or not they're a fan of the ballpark coming to Overland Park at 119th and Knoll. I mean, I like the mayor of Overland Park. I think he's a fine man. But I asked him point blank when he was running for re-election 4 weeks ago, do you support a baseball stadium at 119th and Knoll? And he would not answer the question. It's a yes-no question, and he wouldn't answer it. And that's his prerogative. He's allowed to not answer it. But then on the backside, we're allowed to be critical of a politician who won't answer a question that's one of the biggest questions in all of Kansas City right now. Does the mayor support the idea of a baseball stadium at 119th and Knoll? And you couldn't get an answer, which tells me the politicians know it's not popular, but they don't want to do anything about it. They want to potentially get the tax revenue that would come from a Major League Baseball stadium in their backyard. And when you've grown your top line budget from $300 million 5-6 years ago to now $500 million for this upcoming year, well, it stands to figure, obviously, you want to figure out a way to keep growing government at an unreasonable pace. So I saw this last night on social media on this story. It was from a sports talk show host here in Kansas City. He does a cute little midday show on another radio station. And he shares this Fox 4 piece, and he says, perfectly encapsulates HOAs by thinking they are the decision maker on this. Well, no, this is actually exactly the point of a neighborhood HOA. To try to bring homeowners together and advocate and lobby for what may be in the best interests of their neighborhood. That's exactly their point. No one's saying they're the decision makers at all. I don't know why the knock on the HOA here. I mean, geez, of all the groups and parties you could potentially knock in this story, I don't think the random HOA guy being like, no one really wants the stadium here. I'm pretty sure that's not the answer. But you go ahead, my man. You go ahead. You defend the the billionaire business owners who are going to get tax breaks out the wazoo from the political class. You go knock the little HOA owner who's sat in his house for 30 years and is trying to look out for his neighborhood, and you have the backs of big business and the political elites and everything else. Please, I will take that all day, every day for my competition here, John.
The HOA is the man.
It's like, dude, they're the little guy here.
Well, it's chic to bash on them. In general, I get it. People, you bash on the school principal or the president, the authority figure, if you will.
Yeah, but they're the little guy in this story.
Oh, absolutely.
The authority figures are the baseball team. Mm-hmm. The authority figures here are the politicians. They're the authority figures.
Isn't it funny when fascists scream fascism?
Yeah, exactly right.
So you kind of missed the point there.
You did. Exactly right. 913-408-7957 is how you join us on KCMO. The text line obviously is open as well. Let's go to that here. Pete, I disagree with you on the city council. Watch how the mayor treats residents that disagree with him at city council meetings. I have not seen that firsthand, so I will not comment on that.
I think people just hate HOAs because a lot of the stuff I saw on social media was, yeah, I don't really want the Royals in Overland Park, but screw the HOA. Let's go Royals to Overland Park.
Well, here's my question. Honestly, like this individual who's knocking the HOA that works at a sports radio station, I'm pretty sure he's single with no kids. So he's not in a house anyway. Like, he's not in an HOA. I know they hate the idea of the HOA, and that's their prerogative. That's fine. But if you're trying to find the group to hate the most in this entire saga, I think the HOA is actually down the list quite a bit.
And I would say that these people hating on it don't live there. So,
well, yeah, exactly. It's easy for you to sit in an apartment, 20 minutes away and be like, that HOA sucks. Okay, well, you know what? I'm pretty sure if you owned a home that had a value of somewhere between, I'm just ballparking for that part of Overland Park, $500,000 to $1 million, you might feel differently on this. Just saying. It's easy to be the guy 20 minutes away being like, the HOA is terrible. And you can have an opinion on an HOA and also think HOAs may be bad in general, but at the same time realize they're actually fighting the good fight here. Yeah, they might be ridiculous when it comes to taking out your garbage pail no earlier than 5 p.m. Like, I agree with that. Trust me, there are people that I know involved with HOAs that are a little too much. But once in a while, you're right. And in this case, they're right. Tammy, what's up? You're on KCMO.
Morning, Pete. Hey, something that I don't think anyone's brought up, but Shawnee Mission School District has done this. When they needed a new school, they built it right on the existing grounds while school's going on. Then when it's done, the students then went to the new school and the old school was destroyed. We have enough ground. We could do the same thing in that area of land. Build a new stadium since we supposedly have concrete cancer. Build the new stadium. Then when it's done, destroy the old one. That way baseball continues. There's no disruption. There you go.
I love you, Tammy, but it's not happening. I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you. They're done.
They're wasting money because what's going to happen is that stadium's going to sit there and just start growing weeds and grass. Nothing's going to happen.
What's ideally going to happen, and I mean that ideally from like a best case scenario at this point perspective. Chiefs take over the whole complex. They do with that land whatever they want where the K was. They build something that does not have concrete cancer that makes them money.
Get to Tammy's point.
Yeah, that's what they do. I mean, the Royals, they're leaving, okay? And they're leaving because they've got to go somewhere they can build and make money away from baseball. They can make money off apartments. They can make money off commercial real estate. They can make money off of restaurants and gaming and things like that. That's why they're leaving. Smaller market team, got to figure out how to have revenues to support the baseball team beyond just 81 nights a year, and they're gone. It's not happening at the Truman Sports Complex. I love you. I know that there's still some people holding out hope, but I also think it's important once in a while to put that to rest because it is not happening. It's not. 913-408-7957. Coming up on KCMO. If you are a parent Well, you got to love what's going on in one of our area counties. The bus drivers are stepping to the plate. They're sounding the alarm. We'll tell you how and why next. All right, give me a good one here. Tim at Overland Park. We were just talking about HOAs in Overland Park and Leawood trying to be vocal about the Royals coming to 119th and all being against it. Go ahead, Tim.
Hey, good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm well. What's happening, man?
I think that you hit the nail on the head. A lot of people don't understand that often things are already decided and done. They're not doing. And there's also it is very irritating that just because somebody like the HOA person speaks up, that, they're made to an example of to try to quiet them. And what a lot of people don't understand is these are the people that are going to benefit are the people that are making millions of dollars, and the people that are going to pay for it are the ones that are making tens of thousands of dollars. But, what we have in our system now is broken, and this is a class, I should say, a very modeled system of entertainment is more important in this country than, everything from education, protection, et cetera. So
it's misplaced priorities. That's what it is. Thank you, Tim. It is totally, thank you. It is totally misplaced priorities. Good point. That's what this is all about. From the political class, I mean, business can do whatever it wants. I'm totally good with the Royals deciding they need a different model to make money and compete. The question is, how much should you be involved on either side of state line? And Kansas opened up the door to compete with Missouri with taxpayer dollars, maybe not directly, but additive revenues, of course, is a way to pay back the bonds, which is coming out of your pocket in the end and impacting your public services, whether it's fire, police, EMS, schools, things like that. In a roundabout way, it will cost the taxpayer something. And, they get to kind of play with the everyday citizen. So do with that what you want. Let's go up to Platte County here. This is a fantastic story. I love what's going on up in Platte County. So if you've got kids on the school bus, you should care about this because drivers are terrible. I mean, every day, I don't do a lot of driving, but man, I could count on one, maybe two hands every single day how many stupid drivers you see out there on the roads, right? So in Platte County, it's been a major problem because school bus drivers are sounding the alarm, saying they worry about cars routinely blowing past buses when their red lights are flashing. They've got the stop sign out. Kids are getting off the bus, getting on the bus, and these drivers are just plowing around these cars. In the first 2 months of school, they recorded over 60 stop arm violations. That's people going around buses when the stop arm is out and blinking. That number has climbed as high as 96 as of this week. So you've got some communities up in Platte County and law enforcement up in Platte County who are trying to crack down on this. The Tracy Police Department up there outside of Platte City. Maybe we got to get up there for a Back the Blue tour or something, show those folks in Tracy some love. Because they have increased their enforcement, they tell Channel 41, by being all over the areas where most of these violations are occurring. And, what our bus driver does when she's dropping off the girls is they have it so that she first off pulls into the middle of the road. Now, I understand every place where the bus driver stops and picks up, they can't be in the middle of the road. If it's a major road or a larger road that's got double yellow lines, they can't do that. On back neighborhood streets, they can. And that's what they do by us. She gives a big thumbs up to the girls when they get off the bus, implying you can cross and you can go across the street and you can walk back to your house. So I like how she does it. I like that model. It makes sense. The girls look. She pulls into the middle of the road. She gives them a thumbs up when they get off the bus to cross the street. That's good. But it's not perfect. And if you have people who are still blowing around these buses when the stop arm is out, I mean, I would hammer them. Seriously, if there's something that I would actually want to see government go heavy-handed on in law enforcement, it's people who blow around buses, school buses with the stop arm out. I just don't understand how you could be that reckless around children because you're a minute late for work. I really don't understand it. So if they bring the hammer down on those people, I'm all in. I mean, that's I can find a couple of times when I'm a fan of big government, and that for me, you go after the kids, that's top of the list as far as I'm concerned. I just posted that story up on Facebook and X at Pete Mundo. You can find it there. I really need all my haters who have been just going nuts over my Facebook post on Sunday where I shared a photo of the protesters on a street corner in Johnson County who were all, talking about Trump and ICE and Epstein files. I need them to read this. That's who I really need to read the story. But I think they're too busy leaving me really nasty Facebook reviews. Who was your buddy yesterday you found? Mark was going through all the Facebook reviews I've got. And Mark found a guy who he's still laughing about.
Was it Dick Whipple?
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Boy, I just feel bad for a guy like that. He's going through life with the name Dick Whipple. I mean, that is tough sledding, man. Tough sledding, all right? So it's no wonder that he may lean a certain way with that kind of name he's carrying around town. I mean, woo, boy, that's tough.
Well, luckily for Dick, Abby Phillips is on it there at CNN, right? She's on top of she's got to know all the conspiracies so she can confront that.
Oh, that's so true.
So
that is so
true.
true.
Getting their misinformation.
You're right about that, John.
Yeah.
I really think that it's one of those deals, too, where, I mean, if that's my name, I'm just going by Richard. I mean, you can't.
Rick?
Yeah, Rick, anything.
Ricky?
Rich, I mean, something. You can't go by Dick Whipple. You just can't do it, all right? You can't do it. Now, as everyone focuses on what's going on with the economy, Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, was on Fox News last night with Bret Baier. And he talked about these $2,000 tariff rebate checks that may be getting more attention. I hope this thing just crashes and burns. We do not need to be sending out checks. We're starting to get inflation somewhat under control. You do not get inflation down by sending out $2,000 tariff checks. We learned this the hard way during COVID. Don't do it, please. But Bessent's got to walk a fine line. I understand they're looking for different ideas. I'm all about thinking outside the box. But this ain't it.
And my prediction is that first quarter, second quarter, what we're going to see is we have brought the inflation down. It is curving down. And real income, the other side of that equation is real income growth. And we are going to see this from all this investment.
Would a $2,000 tariff dividend check going to people be inflationary?
Well, there are a lot of things that are going to happen next year.
Is that one of them?
And that could be one of them. And again, maybe we could persuade Americans to save that, because one of the things that's going to happen next year is the Trump accounts. Every child who was born from January 1st for the next 3 years is going to get a government account that goes into the stock market. So every American child born for the next 3 years, starting January 1st, is going to have that. They can take it out when they're 18. They're going to learn the power of compounding, and there's going to be a lot of financial literacy around that. And I think the reason that we saw kind of the disastrous election in New York is young people don't feel like they have a stake in the economy. So we want to give them a stake in the economy.
All right. Scott Bessent's all over the map there. If you think that people are going to get $2,000 tariff checks and save it, you're nuts. Maybe, I don't know, 5-10% of people will. Most people are spending that baby by the end of the month. So Bret Baier says, you going to send out those checks? Well, we might. Well, is that going to cause inflation? Well, hopefully people save it. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one, Scott. And why? I like Scott Bessent. I don't have an issue with him. But why does he always sound like he's about to cry? He always sounds nervous, and he sounds like he's on the verge of a breakdown or something. I don't get it. I mean, the guy's brilliant. He's had an amazing career. He's the Treasury Secretary, but he never sounds comfortable when he's speaking. I can't quite figure it out. But anyway, if you really think that sending out $2,000 checks is going to result in everybody putting it in the bank, you're nuts. That's not going to happen. And yeah, I mean, I do hope that the $1,000 Trump baby gift, whatever you want to call it, the push present from President Trump. Yeah. Where's the there you go. Trump with the push present is going to be the thing that like teaches people about money. I'd love to think that's going to be the case, but most people are just going to be reckless with it. That's what's going to happen. Even if they can't touch it till they're 18. Are they really going to learn about compound interest? No, what people have to do is go through Dave Ramsey's program. That's what they have to do. We have to put the Dave Ramsey program, Financial Peace, into every high school in America. That's what we should do to teach people about being financially wise. Not putting these push presents from President Trump into people's bank accounts, and then when they're 18, be like, here's whatever it is by that point, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 with compound interest. That doesn't make any sense.